We are live. Give it a minute, see if anyone comes in and joins. Just doing a very last minute live Q&A. Hopefully you guys can hear. Trying to be quiet, my wife is out there watching a show. This will be a short one. I just put out a picture post earlier. Where is it? Asking if anyone had any topics or anything up for a live. 3 people commented, so I figured I would go over those 3 questions and call it a night. El Russo, how you doing? Looks like I got 9 people come in pretty quick. How's everybody doing tonight? Video doing okay? So you guys could, if it's choppy, let me know. What's up, Leo? How's everybody doing? My video upload like really dropped out real bad a little bit ago. I checked my speed, my upload, and it's like miserable right now. I'm getting about 8 megabit download and 1 megabit upload. Doing good myself, thank you. Had a little bit of a long day getting the metal roof going today. Oh, so if anyone's got any questions, feel free. We'll try to keep this a short. So at 9:24, 10 o'clock, some Eastern time. So you just bought the house 2 weeks ago? Let me read that again. You found 2 squares cut out. So just to confirm, you're talking about like square sections, not squares, like 10 by 10 area. Are they a complete hole cut in the roof? And while you're typing that up, I'm going to go try to address the first 3 questions that came in here. Leo, the construction guy, was working in my area earlier. You a local guy? Or maybe you're the guy that tapped me on the shoulder today at the gas station. Hey, the local YouTuber. Is that you, Leo? How do you convince your boss to make his employees wear harnesses? I'm not even going to touch that question. Usually it's the boss wanting to make his employees, not the other way around. If you want to wear it, wear it. I'm going to leave that question alone. I'm not going to tell people how to live their life. Okay, so let me answer your question real quick. See, Nick, we'll go through yours real fast, then the 3 that commented on the post. If it's just a small area and you've got a hole, it depends on to what extent you're wanting to do it. Did you say you had 2 layers or two holes? Let me go back up real quick. Just tar paper and shingles over it, so there's no structural wood underneath. If it's 1 layer, it's going to be a little easier, depending upon if you got shingles. You said shingles, okay, so no slate, no shake, anything like that. I would flat bar an area out. There's plenty of videos out there on that. Go from a couple of rafters, preferably not just rafter to rafter, but cross one. Cut a section of wood out, put a new piece of wood in, new piece of synthetic paper, black paper, ice and water. Tuck it under on the high side. In case you ever do have a leak under your shingles, it's going to transfer to the next piece and run out. Lap that over your last row of shingles and then piece them back in. Watching your offset if you've cut anything, and watching your nail placements so they're not in the keyways. Hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, before way more questions come in, let's go over T. Collier. The best product for sealing leaks in a metal roof, including screw holes, misses where they were left open. I can tell you from personal experience, when I built my shed, I've got little purlings and panels, and I missed when I was doing this myself a couple of years ago, and one of them missed. Being that it's not a finished area, drywall, anything like that, I simply backed it out, squirted some GSL 4500 black. It's going to seal real good. made a nice tight seal, gooped a little through the hole, and then around the top, smoothed it, and then under the underside. It's fine, it's my house. If it was a customer's job, I would probably do something a little bit different. I'll explain here in a minute, but it's where I keep my tractor and everything, so I'm not worried about it. And I can see it. If it was a customer's house and you're going into solid wood, I don't see why you would have a miss unless you were racking it in. Um, you're not on live, so you can't clarify the question there. I have seen where people are paneling over shingles, so they're not tearing it off. And in that case, you can't inspect and repair any of the bad wood. So if you've got rotten wood and you get a screw that goes in, it's not going to grip. In that case, it's loose. You need to address that. Something simple you can do aside of just pulling it out or gooping caulk up and then putting it back in is in the attic area. In the case this was a shed, and I've seen it on a garage, you can simply go inside to the underneath decking side and get a nailer. So if you got your rafters coming down, take a 2x4, cut it to the width, push it up in there as tight as you can get it, toe nail it into the rafters. And of course, you got to back that screw out, and then you can pull it into solid wood just underneath the roof deck, and that will pull, grip, and seal. So a couple things you can do with that. And I'm sure there's others, like if it's a customer and you want to do it right, remove the panel. It's going to cost you a little bit, but sometimes that's what you need to do. There was a comment that came in from Peter. He replied to T. Collier's comment. Our mechanical lock, in parentheses, double lock standing seam roofs common in your area? Standing seam, what I referred to them as, yes, a lot of people don't go with them. They go with exposed fastener because it's more affordable. As far as standing seam, I did do a quick Google on the double lock. I don't do a ton of steel, even though we did one today. Um, I believe what I refer to as standing seam or hidden fastener is actually a click lock. So it'll have a rib that comes up and it's contoured and shaped such a way. It comes back down and it has a flat area where you can actually screw flat panhead screws. And then your next panel lays over it and you kind of tap it with a mallet all the way down the rib and it clicks in and locks. As far as double lock, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, other than instead of like having one come over, it's bent a second time under. If it's something you actually bend the second time, then no, that's not common, or at least I've not seen it in our area. I hope that answers your question. D. Finch commented, can a sagging roof be fixed? I had a guy come out and for a quote, and he said it can't be fixed. So yes, it can. And I'm not there to see your roof. Well, I'm gonna have to go through some of these. I was off the screen for chat here. Um, so I imagine if it's rafters, typically you don't see it when, I'm sorry, you typically don't see it when it's rafters. You see it when it's, long night. I don't normally see it when it's rafters. It's typically, I did it again. Trusses. I don't see it when it's trusses. It's when it's rafters I see it. So your rafter spans coming down. Typically they're all free floating. It's not built and engineered like a rafter would be. A truss. I just did it again. And they're kind of wavy. Yes, that can be fixed. Inside, near a supporting wall, you can build a little header, typically a couple 2x6s like this, and you put some jacks underneath, and you go up on the roof side, and we'll crack a chalk line tightly across, pull it so you can see the low-lying areas, and you'll crank those jacks gently, depending upon how much. You might need to do it over time, and start raising that to pull the dip out some. If you're tearing the roof off and you've stripped it all down, you can also just add rafters or nailers to straightening them and nailing them into. So there's different things you can do with that. Like I said, I want to try to keep this a quick, short Q&A and go through these questions here, comments. What's my preferred underlayment, Sam? Synthetic paper, various brands. Actually, what I've been using here lately is from Reese Wholesale because they had a bad batch of misprint. Colors were off, so it's been discounted. Nothing wrong with the paper, it's strictly the color on top, so I've been getting a good buy on that. I'm not a fan of black paper. Depending upon the pitch and the temperature, it beads up under your boots. The guys up there working just makes it slick, and it does not hold up to wind or weather as good either. So if you're on a breezy day rolling out black paper, it's just going to tear. So synthetic paper. Okay, back to yours, Nick. Yes, small enough of a vent, maybe 6 by 6 inches. Yes, if what I would do is like I just said, or maybe I already completely answered that question for the vents. So I got a question for you, Nick. You bought the house 2 weeks ago. Did you guys have a home inspection done? If so, what was your experience of that? What did they say about the roof? That's been a pretty big thing going around lately. Oh, you got two, Leo, two areas in Indianapolis, and actually I was in Atlanta, not the actual ATL, but Atlanta, Indiana. It's a little south of Kokomo. That's where we're doing the metal roof. What side of Indianapolis? I try to stay out of there. What's up, super roofer? How many squares do we do a week? It just varies on what jobs we have lined up. I don't have salesmen, it's just me doing a lot of the estimates, repair work, and setting up, finalizing. So I'm not doing a shit ton of squareage like some people when you've got multiple estimators out, salesmen out. Um, it really depends on the job too. We've done some really good squareage weeks. I mean, we've had some weeks in the 100, 200 square when they're big buildings. I mean, you got a big church or something with big street field, it's not a problem. One job, barn we did, I've got a little bit of drone footage on it. I think it was like 95 square we did in a day. David G, you bought a home with a bad roof, including a small section where I can tell the rafter is rotted because it flexes when I step on it. Oh, it moved. Where is it? Will a roofer fix it, or will they need to have a framing guy come out too? It depends. I guess I can't speak for other companies. If it's just something like you're stating there, we'd take care of it. Hopefully, it's something I catch when I'm doing the estimate and I'm wearing, I'm prepared, I've got the lumber and everything, and the guys will take care of it. Depending upon the extent of it or the contractor, I don't know. They may sub out a framing guy, but I reckon it doesn't seem like a lot. They would just take care of it. Even if you get into a project and you're not aware of that, usually I'll jump on the phone, notify the homeowner, document it, plenty of photos to back up everything, and jump in the truck and go get the lumber we need and get the guys going on it. Not a huge deal, depending upon how bad it is. Typically, you can just get a sheet up, get a guy in there, and lift the rafter and nail it to it. Koto Simon, love the worst roof ever from Ohio. Hey to Ohio. Yeah, unfortunately, I get a lot of those, and I do get a lot of comments regarding that too. A lot of people like, "Oh, worst roof ever. Does this guy ever work?" Every roof can't be the worst roof. Well, that's what titles people discover me on. So I guess and also that's a lot of the content. People want me to do a lot of content on like good roofs, but people don't just call me up and be like, "Hey, can you inspect my good functioning roof?" Typically, it's when the roof has got issues, it's leaking or going bad, and they need a quote. So unfortunately, to those people that comment that, that's really all I do. I had a couple of calls where people wanted me to come out and inspect it. They've seen the channel, and I'm kind of within an hour's drive, and I'll try to work those in. So in that case, I can usually get some kind of content on that. Don, appreciate it. The feedback on liking the videos. Appreciate it. Yeah, just real quick on the channel and the channel growth here lately. And so the YouTube metrics, I don't know if you guys ever create content, but just on the homepage, it goes back 28 days typically is what I just kind of look at. And in the last 28 days, I'm at like six or 700, 640,000 views. So it's really spiked recently. Something with the algorithm and a few of the videos are doing really well. But back up a few years, and I don't know if you guys have seen Eric Reno up in Michigan. I remember when I started this channel, I was like, wow, he's got a ton of subscribers, love this content. And then he went incognito for the longest time. So then I started slowly growing, and it takes a lot to kind of get going unless you're lucky. And here lately, it's just kind of exploding. So I'm trying to do more, but it does take a little bit away from what I need to do, trying to just think of what to film and upload it and all that jazz. So I appreciate the feedback on that. Thank you. And here lately, I think it's like gained 2,000 subscribers in the last week or 3 weeks. So kind of cool. Uh, for any of you normal viewers, give me an idea. I'm looking at possibly doing a 20,000 subscriber giveaway. How do I know which decking needs to be replaced? You had a complete tear off and 6 were replaced. You think more should have been replaced? Um, Doug I'm assuming you're the homeowner and you've had a contractor do it. Uh, have you been on the roof, or what's makes you concerned on should more have been replaced? Typically, I mean, it sounds like you're a good concerned homeowner because most people don't want wood replaced. You'd be surprised how many people are like, I don't want to unless it's absolutely needed. Um, if you're walking on it, you can tell a little bit if it's going to be like OSB or CDX and you're up there, if it's on 24-inch centers, the thickness of the wood. I weigh like 175 pounds. Me walking on it, if I'm not stepping on the rafters truss area, it will give a little bit, but it's not like soft where you're going to fall through. You want it to be solid. If it sounds like it's cracking and popping, it's probably CDX and it's probably delaminating. You're hearing a pop. In that case, yes, it probably should have been. We find a lot of 3/8 CDX on 24-inch center in certain neighborhoods around here, and whenever I walk those roofs and I look up under the edge, I just note it, a line item, hey, due to possible 3/8 plywood, it may need a full new redeck job, and then they see the price and I never get a call back. And unfortunately, it's not me gouging, it's just the price of material. Pretty much all of Indianapolis, soon Kokomo. Learning lots, and appreciate it. I feel like there's this gnat or something flying around. Uh, what should people know the difference between asphalt and fiberglass shingles? Well, fiberglass shingles are also asphalt, just so uh, I'm maybe possible typo. Uh, when it comes to the traditional like dimensional asphalt 3-type shingles, the fiberglass is what's new. It's a fiberglass mat and it's got asphalt doped in on and around it for the granules to adhere to. The older ones are organic. They don't have fiberglass, so unless I'm not understanding your question there. Give away a roof gun? Could it be one of my repaired ones? Anyone in here seen that repair video I just did recently of the repair Hitachi repair gun? I released a Saturday video. Maybe I'll repair another jalapa and I'll engrave my initials on it and send that off as a 20K sub giveaway. Nah, maybe I'll just send a gift card to buy one somewhere. I guess I could ship it. Just see how big the Hitachi gun is in flat rate shipping boxes. You went to the attic and took a look. Um, is there any like Doug, any like mold, mildew growth underneath? Are they buckling and you can see some like serious look to it that doesn't look right? If you got anything that has some pretty good detail, feel free to fire a photo over to the email in the about page and I'll pull it up real quick. I won't show it live on here. I'll pull it up on my other computer. David G, good question. If I am missing some fascia, does it matter if I do it before or after the roofer comes out for a new roof? Um, Fascia board, if it's fascia metal, it's not a big deal. If it's fascia board, yes, it is ideal to get that done before the roof gets done, assuming the roofer is going to use apron and gable edge metal. Reason being is if it's the fascia board you're needing replaced, you're going to need to pop the boards out, possibly cut the boards and replace a section. If you have apron covering down over the bottom or gable going up the side, it's going to make it harder. It can be done, but you're possibly going to have to flare out the drip edge a little bit or potentially hit scratch cut when you're cutting the wood out. So I would replace any rotten fascia board before the roof or during the roof install. If it's fascia metal, it's not a huge deal. Whether it's on the bottom or the gable, it doesn't matter. Typically, your fascia metal can shove right up under. Sorry, I was reading up through the comments here real quick, see if I missed anything. Just had an inspection. This was noticed. Missing drip edge, flashing over the fascia. Is it normally an issue? I'm a big fan and advocate of yes, using apron and drip edge. Apron on your bottom, drip edge up the gables. Drip edge can be a kind of a loose term, but apron is larger down the face and larger up the roof deck. That's apron, and then T drip. I've also heard people say D drip, but it looks like a T almost. So it comes up the face of the fascia and then flares out 180-degree turn back over the roof deck, and that's typically over your gable edge. Rake, somebody said I didn't know what I was talking about because they said gable recently. Yeah, it's rake, it's a gable, both. What is your take on roof max, roof treatment? Ben, that is something I want to look into. I have personally never seen the products, used the products, or talked to anyone about them, but I did have a few people in that area message me on the Instagram in the past. If it's what I'm thinking of, it supposedly makes your shingles a little more flexible or adds a little oil back into them after they've aged, if that's what you're referring to. That's an idea I want to try to find the material or talk to, collaborate with somebody that does that. Possibly get a sample on a roof we're getting ready to do and spray it, give it a few days and see, or possibly a week and see if it makes it more flexible. It's an idea I've got to come up with an upcoming video, but I haven't got there yet. Most of the people I follow on YouTube, it's like news related, market related, finance related, and there's always new stuff. Roofing, I mean, I can only explain a video one way, and then it gets old, I feel. So trying to find new content, thank you, appreciate that. It's one thing I do need to look into. You've had the same gun for 15 years, Super Roofer. Which gun? Did I miss that comment? The Hitachi, is that what you're talking about? Hitachi's all I've really ever used and had. Uh, Mike Nicholson, I've never heard of that before. So you're saying years ago it was just fiberglass. So like a fiberglass plank? Because fiberglass itself to be not porous, it would have to have a resin in it, like fiberglass on a car or something, and I would think that that would be extremely brittle and solid. And I've never, I mean, I've seen fiberglass corrugated panels before, if that's what you're talking about. Other than that, no, I've only seen the organic asphalt, and then the um, fiberglass asphalt, which is typically what's on the market now. Don, the Mag Hatchet is amazing, but let me tell you something. I did a video today. You'll see it. I didn't realize till I washed it back. I got a little. Oh, there's my finger there. You can't see it very well. It's not focusing. The Mag Hatchet. I was doing a repair, doing a brow, taking care of it, and I'm patching it and everything off. And I was wearing a glove. Grabbed some nails, stuck it to the hatchet, was driving them off. Well, I went to do the last piece of hip cap coming up in, and I grabbed some and I held it, and I was holding the nail this time. I went to smack it. I didn't know it, but there was a second nail there and drove that second nail right through the tip of my finger. So just a tip, using that be aware. If you're holding it, nothing's either stuck to the magnet, because I've done that before, holding one and one's stuck on the hatchet. Yeah, you just be aware of that because it hurts really bad. Yeah, I got home last night. It was a little bit of a whiskey shot night. Yeah, the standoff is amazing too. I love that thing. The second good benefit of the standoff, well, actually, it's got several. It keeps the gutter protected and everything. It keeps it from tipping over, makes it more stable, and more importantly, it doesn't allow your ladder to slip out too. So it's really got several benefits. It's well worth it. Ben, if you have any info on that, if you could, go ahead and send it to my webpage, or I'm sorry, not webpage, my email that's on the about page. Let me find it here real quick. I can't remember. I don't check them often, but I'll check them here in a minute. Check them often, but I'll check them. Gotta find it here. On the about page of the roofing, uh, grandroofinginc.sponsors@gmail.com. Or you can do grandroofinginckokomo@gmail.com. There's two. Bostage. There is one good thing I like about Bostage coil nailers is they've got that magnet in there, so the very last nail it advances doesn't drop out like it does in the Hitachis. But other than that, I'm just not a fan of Bostage coil nailers. Now I do own a Bostage framing nailer. I love that thing. Any tips on the best and honest roofer? That is a hard one to just give a clean cut answer. I will give you my best info on what I know so far. So, word of mouth can be good, but the downside to word of mouth, unless the people that are referring personally know and are not trying to uptalk somebody and know they've been around for a while, because there's a lot of people, oh, this guy he did a really good job, and they're talking highly of him, but have those jobs that guy did stood the test of time? And unfortunately, a lot of the leaks I come across don't leak right away. And I've talked about that in various other videos without going down the rabbit hole on that. Um, Word of mouth can be a good start, but just make sure you do more than just that. Um, Certain pages like the Better Business Bureau, it's a complete joke, it's a scam. I'm sure there's good people out there. I'm not saying the whole thing is bad, but my complaint with the BBB, for one, has nothing to do with the Better Business Bureau. It's a private business and it's a business for profit. One of the ways they generate revenue is people getting reviews on top of charging their people to use their platform. They can actually pay to have negative reviews wiped away. So it's just totally manipulated. I'm not a fan of it. Angie's List was good back in the day, but they got bought out by Home Advisor, another complete scam, kind of a pay to play, not good. I don't recommend anyone use that. Google is good. I mean, I try and strive to build Google reviews because people will go to Google quite often, roofer near me, whatever they're looking for, and it pops up. I cannot manipulate Google reviews. I did get my first bad Google review a few weeks back, a couple months ago maybe, somebody never decided to call and leave a voicemail. They thought they were getting hung up on, but never left a message. And yeah, hey, what's up, Brady? Three Musketeers. Hey, did you hit a on the road to 1K subscriber giveaway? Well, hopefully it's Brady. Maybe it's one of Brady's buddies, but hey, shouldn't you be in bed ready for school tomorrow? Quick little shout out to the Three Musketeers in the audience there, a new YouTuber. Go check out their page. Um, Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, going back to the Google reviews, that's a good one. Making sure the company's been around for a while. And I started once. I had to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. So that's kind of hard and kind of contradictory for me to get out there and get known. It took a while to get going, people to trust me. So just because they just started in business doesn't mean that they're going to be a bad company. Um, but over time, you can look back and see how have they handled bad issues or things that have happened. hopefully it gives you just a little bit. I need to kind of take some time and think about that and maybe even interview people because on the channel I get comments from all over the country, Florida, areas the hurricanes have hit, and they've been hit by con artists and scammers. So it, it's kind of hard. Let me go back through here real quick. What's my opinion of the battery Bostage powered nail gun, Don? Can't say because I've never used it. The only battery nail gun stuff, well, let me clarify. So I have used pass load before, where it's actually got a fuel cell and it uses a battery to ignite the fuel. Those are amazing. They can be costly, but when you're working solo doing things and you're framing or just want to do a quick pop pop, tack some things up, and then come back with a pneumatic gun later, those are great. As far as a battery operated coil nailer, I have not seen them, not used them, but I imagine it uses some sort of copper coil and uses the battery to actually charge it like an old carpet magnet stapler that just drives it down. They're probably good, but I could imagine they have a limitation on how long they last and how many shots you can get out of it. So in that case, charging batteries the time it takes to charge versus pneumatic or a pass load fuel cell. I don't know that I think it has its place, but I think it still has some limitations. Gaf Timberline Hdz. So I've done a lot of that over the years. They're actually manufactured just a few hours north of me in Michigan City, Indiana. They've got several plants, so I'm not saying yours came out of that one, but a lot of ours did. It's a decent shingle. I got no complaints with it. Their mechanical fastening lock, I want to do some content on that. One thing I do not like or care for with GF brand is they're kind of a bully in the marketplace and they're the leaders in, I wouldn't say manipulating or their marketing. Their marketing's a bit of an issue. Their limited lifetime shingles, I think that's kind of a joke, and I will never sign with them to be their elite installer, whatever, because in the fine print in the contract, they basically own you. I know Dmitry Lipinski's going through that where they're trying to sue him, uh, hurt him financially just because he speaks his honest opinion of it. I mean, to be profitable with these shingle manufacturer companies, they're all very similar. There are some differences, and there's big differences in their quality control, but they're trying to keep their costs down in manufacturing. Whether it's the Tanco had a big issue where they're trying to be competitive and they shrunk their cellophane wrapper dimension just a quarter inch to reduce their cost. And the problem is when the seal strip overflow comes out and that was pressed in there, it actually came out and was over the cellophane. So they're trying to save pennies and then, well, on a massive scale, it's a lot of money, but it ends up really hurting their brand. Let me see, we got some more coming in. Yeah, so Angie's List, Leo, I'm pretty sure it was Home Advisor that bought them out, and they are terrible. They were really high pressure when they first contacted me a few years ago, and they make you sound all real good, yeah, and they try to pressure you into signing a contract right then for a year. The biggest issue is when they sell you dead leads. I never went for it. I told the guy, and he's like, no, no. I'm like, dude, I'm driving right now. I'm not gonna go sign up with this. Then did some research in it and like, nah. And then somebody I know in my hometown in a different line of work, he was talking to me about it and he signed up for it. I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. Some leads did come to him, and then other people I know, they would sell leads. They would contact them, and the owners would be like, hey, I've had this done 3 months ago. And they're charging the person's credit card constantly on those. So kind of a pain. I would definitely advise not using Home Advisor. or really for that matter, any of those like Thumbtack or any of those other pay to use their platform for reviews, because if something in their algorithm changes or something with their company changes and you've built your business around it, then it could totally wipe you out. So I would really encourage any contractor out here to focus on their own reviews and their own brand and lead generation. Mike, ICO made the asphalt laminated T-lock. One corner called them fiberglass 3-tab. I'm not a fan of T-tab at all. I have to look into that. I mean, I've seen the T-lock, but not like you're talking about. David G, thank you. I appreciate it. There's a few people. What part of Florida are you from, if you don't mind sharing? About a year ago, I actually had someone call me from Florida, and I even went to the point to where she gave me her address to look it up, and I did a sketch of the roof to give them an idea of what was going on because she felt like somebody was taking advantage of them. And from what I did find out, it did seem like it was. They were taking advantage of them. Um, and didn't charge anything. Thank you for the tip there. Appreciate that, Herbie. So three. Um, just to send them some help on what little I could do from states away. We're over 1,000 miles away, but um, part of why I do this is the roofing YouTube content is terrible out there. A lot of it's very bad and wrong and misleading. I'm not saying I'm the smartest, but I want to do what I can to share. Thank you for the tip, there. I really appreciate that. Doug, just curious, do you use OSB or plywood and the thickness? Um, Around here, people are, I want to say this nicely because some of you might be in my home area or watch this later. Kokomo it's a weird market. It is definitely a weird market. People are just worried about the bottom price. They don't care about the quality. I mean, I even want to talk about this and the similarities between roofers and Gresham's Law, which I might do a short video on that later. But yeah. So to answer your question, we figure everything with OSB around here. New homes are built with OSB. Every contractor around uses OSB. Re-roof, if you got decking, OSB. It's just unless you have a customer, like I've got a neighbor not far away. He's like, hey, I want plywood. I want a 3/4, 5/8 minimum. I'm like, okay, if you want that, I'll do that. And that was actually before COVID, so there was a way better price on it. Um, with that being said, CDX is definitely going to be better. The laminate's going to hold up. It's going to be more strong than the oriented strand board. It's going to hold up a lot better. You've got solid wood fiber membrane going through there at a cross lattice with CDX. Um, so it's going to last and be more sturdy. OSB is just oriented strand board and they're kind of a cross lattice, but the average oriented strand board fiber is only about 2 to 4 inches long. And you're crossing typically 24-inch centers, most framing in our area. Its only strength is really coming between the glue and those pieces. So yeah, OSB is going to hold up way better if you want to spring for it. But in our area this past year or two, even OSB has been running up $55 a sheet, and plywood was $80 a sheet. It was ridiculous. That's just the cost to buy it. Then you got the labor, you got the nails, you got the trash, the saw blades. And the size, typically most guys here figure 7/16 to ½ inch. And Kokomo, they said it's a weird animal. There are no permits, no inspections, nothing like that required. So you see a lot around here. Yeah, I think there's lots of scammers everywhere. Um, in a video I did just the other day about did that house have hail or not, I wasn't referencing scammers, but people and their opinions, their moral values, whatever you want to call it, really get skewed when it comes to money. Money changes people. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of scammers out there that take advantage of people. Yeah, I mean OSB. Hell, I did an addition here, and I used OSB on it. I'm fine with it. Make sure you space it with H clips and things, and give it some room to expand and contract, and make sure your install's good. OSB can work good. You also want to make sure your attic area is ventilated good because if you get a lot of stagnant, hot, moist air in there, not only is it going to affect the shingles over time with the heat buildup in there and possibly void any warranties or make them wear out quicker, you don't want that moisture stagnant in your attic. So you want a good intake and a good outflow. Certainteed has some really good, I'm sorry, Own Corning has some really good video content on their insulation and attic ventilation type stuff. There's like an hour to an hour long lecture on one of their channels that has some really good video information on that. Yes, OSB, plywood doesn't matter. You really need clips, not so much to lock them together as, in my opinion, to space them from expansion and contraction. So in a pinch, if you're replacing a few, you don't necessarily have to use H clips. It's a good idea. Some places in code require it, so I'm not saying it doesn't, but if you don't have H clips, you can take a nail and just tack it in a rafter or truss right above your sheet where you're getting ready to lay the next one and lay your sheet in just to space it, a couple of nails to space it evenly. And then once it's shot, you pull those out. But yeah, H clips are definitely going to help. Yeah, unfortunately, DG, a lot of the people everywhere are just becoming back. Do I work in the Carmel area? I've done a bit in the Carmel area, Westfield. No, I don't stick to Kokomo. I'm pretty much, I mean, honestly. So Ryan, if you need some work and you're in Kokomo or Carmel, give me a call. And I try to be within an hour, so I don't really go east into Muncie or Marion. I'm not a fan of Marion. I don't typically go north into the Peru Logansport area anymore. I'm just not a fan of those towns and the houses they've got up there. Nothing against the people. It's just I hate the homes that are stacked on each other and have gazillion layers of roofing. But I'll go west to Lafayette, West Lafayette, all the way down through like Lebanon, Frankfurt, into Carmel. I am licensed and registered with Marion County and Lawrence, but I don't do a lot in Marion County. I've done a lot in like the Noblesville, Fishers, Carmel, Westfold area. What's the combination of my safe? One, two, three, four. It's a good one. Clips per span too. Um, I would say two at a minimum because it's going to keep your sheet straight. But if you're using it to get them to lock together from sheet to sheet, be secure, I mean, all of them is going to be better. But man, my God, have you seen the cost of H clips? Tip on H clips. Um, Most of my local box stores, they were the best place to find them. Typically a small bag or a box. But I did find a place, it's been a while, I haven't needed to order them for a while, online. It's like a bulk H clip store. You can get a case of these things for a fraction of the price. So before you go out and you buy H clips, if you need a lot of them, if you're a contractor, do a quick Google search. I was blown away at the cost you can get them. Same with plumbing. There's a website, plumbing something or another when I did a lot of remodel rehab for the real estate company I have as well. The plumbing was so much cheaper buying it in bulk, like PEX and crimp fittings and everything on this website. So just search around, you can save a ton. As I stated in the video I did on the air nailer repair I released on Saturday, part of running a successful company is also being aware of your outflow. So be aware of it. Can I show my firearms? No. I'm still trying to grow the channel. I've had some copyright strikes and some warnings before, and I don't know. Software and pixel reading stuff, I don't know what YouTube would do. And I don't mind if you guys see the safe. I do mind it. I don't want people to see what's in the safe. He made the WLF, what are you talking about, DG? What did I miss here? Hmm. Yeah, boy, the tone of the questions here really changed. Huh. My video here on my end glitched for a minute. Is the stream still going? Still good? I can't even see my OBS software. Let's see here. Gotta see something. There we go. I'm still up. Any experience with metal roofs that have Yankee gutters? Not sure what you're talking about there. Soul, hey, how you doing? Some of you guys talking about Hitler and the war and stuff in here. Thought we were talking about roofing nailer guns. You roofers out there, you ever get home after you've gotten cleaned up and you showered? Do you ever feel like you still got granules in your hair? Ever fell off a roof? Actually, I've been getting asked that question a lot here lately. No, I've never fallen off a roof, but I've jumped off a roof. I'll take it any day. If I'm about to fall and I know I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna jump. And I've done that a few times. One story anyway. If I'm like way high up or dangerous, then typically I'd get to the point where I'm not gonna fall. I'm using more equipment or I'm in a harness. But if you're gonna fall, my opinion, if it's one story, jump, get your feet out from under you, keep your knees slightly out so you don't bop your face into your knees when you impact, but break your fall. You get up, walk away, your ankles are hurt a little bit, but you'll be fine. Try to get to the grass, it's a little softer. Yeah, Chris, that's kind of what I was thinking. What is Yankee gutter? Back to who was that that asked that? Somewhere in the comment section. Any advice for knowing where you are in the attic compared to the home when looking for a leak? So yes, there's a few things you can do very easy. Typically, if you're in the attic, you're going to see either the whole house attic or sections if you've got dormers and wings coming off of it. So one of the simplest things you can do is typically a soil vent pipe coming through the roof. You can locate that and you can kind of give an idea, a mental picture in your head where the house layout is for that. Usually older homes, at least in my area, got a cast iron that comes up or a copper pipe. You can find those because the weight of those typically goes straight down into the basement, crawl space, etc. PVC, they can kind of come down and branch off into different areas, but I usually use those. Um, you can also use a few other things as far as if you have AC lines coming through, air ducts coming through. Some homes have register covers in the ceiling. You can kind of sometimes see those. You can also see can lights. Usually they have a insulation barrier around them so the heat can rise so they don't shut off thermally. Those are all some things over the years I've learned you can use to identify where you are. And if you find the leak, you can usually, depending upon how much skill you have, drive a nail up or tap a nail back up and find it up on the roof too. Good question. Oxford Publishers torch down line. Huh. That sounds interesting. Flist 88. Sole synthetic paper, my opinion, constantly, any day, synthetic paper. I'm not a fan of any kind of black paper any longer. Quit using that like 15 years ago. When the synthetic came out first on the market, I remember we tried it. I was not a fan of it because it was just synthetic paper. It was super slick. Any moisture, any dew, any rain, you could not walk it. I think it was one of the biggest complaints, and they got the feedback. It was well heard. Then they started putting a little woven cloth texture into the top side of it, so you can walk on it with it moist and damp, whatever. I forgot I said moist. People don't like that word. You just made your roofers put carpet down all over the roof so it wouldn't mess it up. There's various things on that. I've never seen or heard of putting carpet down to protect the roof. If they're just doing a localized area repair or something, but some other things, cougar paws have little sponge-like cushions under the boots. Those are really good. They help keep from scuffing and damaging the shingles, so can cushions. So in our area, whenever trash night is, we're low on cushions. We go around, find people setting out couches, and if they're not pissified, then we'll just take the cover off and keep the cushions in inventory. And those are really good to grip shingles and not damage the shingles. Carpet, I imagine, would work. I would just never do it, or never have done it. Good question. Revolution conceptions. Um, I use software primarily for a lot of my roof measuring, provided I get a good satellite image, and that's RoofSnap. It's a paid-for software, very good. If you do a lot of it, look into it. That's RoofSnap. Um, if it's a home I'm near, if it's a simple home, I'll jump up and measure the old-fashioned tape measure and a pin. But anything that's like remotely questionably dangerous, cut up, nasty, gnarly, if it's far away, I'll just use Roof Sketch. I can sketch it out typically in a few minutes and it gives me a nice detailed report. So look into Roof Sketch. Not sponsored by them at all. They won't sponsor anyone, but it's a very good software that I pay for. I've been using it for years now. Excuse me. Bone Dry, they're in my area too. Bone Dry has gotten pretty big. DG, who's David G? Somebody commented, I thought, and I said David G somewhere up there. I thought. Pretty sure I read somebody's name as David G. Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a David G that asked a question. He's the one that said from the Tampa Bay area, lots of scammers. Ever seen OSB upside down? Yes. And so funny story on that real quick. OSB does have a top side. At least most manufacturers, or I thought all manufacturers, until COVID hit and you couldn't get OSB. So one of the suppliers in my area was frantically trying to find OSB, and I'm really glad they made the effort to get it here. And they bought it from Switzerland, I believe. Sweden, Switzerland, something like that. And on top of being pricey, there were actually no lines to nail, which not the end of the world, but is a nice little guide when you're trying to shoot it down into your rafters and trusses. The biggest issue, it was not textured. Yeah, so if you've ever walked a roof of any pitch and you're walking the OSB decking, the side that's usually got the nail lines as guides, it's kind of rough compared to the backside. That's so you can grip it. And this stuff from Sweden, Switzerland, wherever it came from, is a nightmare. I think they're still stocked on a quite a bit of wood because nobody wants to buy it. It's like death. If it's a low slope, you can walk on it, but what was the question? Upside down. Yeah, so I'm guilty. I'll admit I've put some cut sheets upside down. I'm not gonna say I've put sheets upside down, cut sheets. So if you're doing a hip house and you say a full sheet, you bump your top right up to your hip, and you need to fill this end over here. When you drop it in and you crack the line and cut it, typically, if you flip the sheet upside down, it's a perfect run to start. I will say it differs on whether you are on Raptors and trusses versus decking over gapped one bys, because then you can shift it any amount and you can still nail it. If you're going right on Raptors and trusses, you have to, of course, start and break on and end on. So yeah, you can flip it upside down. It's a little tip and not waste or not have to cut. It's one cut, two sheets, two pieces of wood going in. Has a female client seduced me on the job? No. Do have a real estate company, so learned some things over the years with that too. Have had kind of, well, not that, but one of the tenants at a property I was working on many years ago was like, hey, we can work something out on payment. I was like, no, you're not even paying the bill. The landlord's paying me. Um, but also, if you are dealing with people like that on a regular occasion, um, other states may be different, but at least in Indiana, on the phone, as long as one party, either party knows the phone call is being recorded, it does not need to be disclosed. So every phone call on my phone is recorded. And I've had to actually bring that up, not for work related like this, but somebody said something, or a supplier maybe wrote something down wrong, the order came in wrong. I'm like, well, I've got the recording right here. So again, to clarify, in Indiana, as long as one party knows, it's legal without disclosing. There are phone apps for your phones for that too, by the way. Tradesmen retire with a broken body and empty wallet. Um, Maybe a few do, not all. You have good coverage with GAF products for satellite measurements. Do they offer some special thing for you where they give you the satellite measurements? Oh yeah, thank you, Jason. Commenting about somebody by the name of DG, I believe, and David G, David F, something like that. Florida attracts only the best and the brightest. I think I missed part of the conversation, but you must be referring to the amount of scammers in the area. DG 912 1012, no thanks. It was on a 1012 face. I'm sorry, a 1212 face. Mansard was like a gambrel barn garage roof. Wasn't too bad. Took my extension ladder, shot it up as high as I could. Ladder standoff hit down. I went up the ladder and then stepped off like an additional 5 feet to get to the flatter, walkable side. The steepest roof I've worked on, um, it's in the 20s. I don't know, 2412. Actually, I've got a video using a, pitch hopper on, I think it was a 2612. Um, Search pitch hopper. You might see that video pop up. It's of me. I was doing a repair in the Peru area, and I had the pitch hopper and a mansard face 2612, and it had a low slope porch under it. So I was like, this is a perfect time to try it out. The thing would tip off the roof unless you had weight pushing it because it was past its CG. But I jumped up on it, and the dude that held me on, I think it was a 2612 pitch. So search pitch hopper, and you'll see. Why were they cutting 2-inch holes in between the rafters? Hmm. Yes, I would say riffing can be different. Terminology can be different from state to state. Codes and regulation can be different from not just state to state, but town and counties. Powerbog 2256. Um, Price can vary dramatically from where I live versus just 45 minutes to an hour south of here. And how the jobs are done. I mean, more so like if it's going to be a totally different material like slate, shake, Da Vinci, things like that are gonna, standing seam, they're gonna drive the cost up a lot, but like shingles, pretty much anywhere are gonna be kind of a range. The difference in cost there is gonna be somebody that's got a reputation and been around for a while, size of their overhead, things like that. Hmm. Travelers who painted roofs instead of replacing them. Huh. Oh, yeah, okay. So, Flist 88. So I do know, like, if it comes to Eagle View, you can pay per report or you can prepay and get a package tier where you get a little reduced rate. A lot of suppliers I've heard do that for their contractors, so it does help a little bit. The downside of that is it's going to say the supplier contact info or their logo or whatever. Not a big deal. Tip, if you guys use Eagle View for quick square. I did another live Q&A and kind of mixed a tidbit in there, but it's really simple to do. It's like 12 or $18, and then if you wanted to convert to a full report, you pay the difference. That's cool and that's fine, but there's a tip you guys can do really quick. Do it right now if you're on a computer, a laptop, a desktop. Won't work on your phone. Go to Google Maps, type in any address or find anywhere on the map. Bring up satellite view. It's on the lower left side of the screen, and then put your cursor over an area. Right click, go down on the bottom and click measure. It'll plot a dot, and you can move the cursor around and just click and place dots around the image of the roof if you have a good image. And when they connect, it will give you a square area or a square foot area. So you can do a quick square really quick. And then I've also said this in other videos, that only accounts for the 2D. So I keep this little um, chart right here. So it gives you the rise and the multiplier. And that's my work computer. It's with me all the time in the truck. So you're sketching out a 2D, and the steeper the roof, the more off that's going to be. So if it's a 1212, you're going to multiply by 1.414, and that will account for the slope using Pythagorean or whatever. So just a tip, you can do it within literally a minute, and you can get your quick square, not pay your report fee. Yeah, that's why I'm not a fan of Eagle View, Josh, because the cost of it adds up, and also I don't want to pay and wait days or get a speedy report and get it in hours. As I said earlier, you may not have been in here. Roof sketch is super simple and it's real quick. Are there special scenarios where I would recommend a metal roof? And a ranch home is totally shaded by oaks and maple. So you can clean a lot of that moss, mildew, and lichen, blue green algae type stuff off of your roof. There's cleaners you can use. Look up into it. I don't do it, but yes, having it shaded, there's several factors. If the sun can't get to it and dry it, if it's retaining moisture, that's going to encourage the growth of that stuff. Typically, it's after a handful of years because there's usually a copper oxide inside the shingle granules that is supposed to kind of come down and coat the roof to allow the blue-green algae, or not allow them to grow, to inhibit them. But over time, that wears out. So there are chemicals you can use to clean and treat your roof of those things. As far as recommending something over that, steel is really good because typically it's going to carry a class 4 hail rating, a UL 2218 class 4. So if you're looking at those hail rated shingles, I personally would recommend going into steel. That's what we're doing today. And I did do a quick video on how we set up and line up our first panel to run a run out. Was uploading that earlier today, so I might publish that tomorrow. Oh, by the way, also, whether you've got a class 3 or a class 4 rated shingle and you're a homeowner, check with your insurance company. Typically, they can give you a discount if it's a class rated shingle. Usually, it just takes your contractor signing a one-page form stating the brand, what it is, what class rating it is. And some people I have been able to get them, I think it was even a class 3 rated shingle, like 6 and 12% off their premium per year, and it adds up for the cost difference of the shingle within like as little as 2 years, and then they're money ahead. Unless you got a contractor that upsells and then upcharges. So for example, if somebody wants Oak Ridge and they want to upgrade the duration, I'm only going to charge them the difference of the shingle. I know there's contractors out there who will double what the cost of the difference is, or charge over and above. I'm not that guy, but whatever. The choppers are awesome. I don't carry it with me all the time. Only when I know I'm going to need it, I throw it on my truck. My truck's really just set up for estimates and little light repair work. List 88, they told the homeowner it would allow it to breathe better. Well, I'm missing something there. Daniel, appreciate that. It's your first year as a salesman. What area, what state? Wow. Yeah, that's another good question I get occasionally too, is the temperature and installing and will they seal down? Um, there's guys out there that, oh yeah, we roof 24/7 year round. I don't advise that if you're in a cold region because you're relying solely on those nails holding and keeping those down until they do seal. Well, that's fine, but you can actually damage those shingles and the seal strips before they have a chance to seal in the spring or summer. A lot of people don't think, but if you've got a shingle, it's typically 36, 38 inches wide, the seal strip is sporadically underneath, and if it hasn't had a chance to totally seal and adhere and one spot does and the rest of it doesn't, when the shingle starts whipping it through the winter, it actually can get mat transfer and that will never stick again. You really want the whole thing to seal down before storms come. So if it's just lightly sticking or not sticking at all, it can actually cause damage to where it will never stick down. I had a past boss that didn't believe me, and there was one roof out in the middle of a cornfield, and he was fighting it for quite a while. Thoughts on Atlas shingles? I'm pretty sure that's like a Menards exclusive brand. I've done repair work with them. People have had stuff sitting out. If I can think about it, I'm pretty sure Atlas is similar to Pinnacle. And aren't they the ones that have like a double seal strip on the top, right? It's top seal with a two tar line. If I can remember, they did stick down pretty good, but I just don't know a lot about them. Oh, yes, the zinc strips. Thank you, DGs. I almost forgot to mention that. Actually, I did forget to mention it. Somebody had a question about the mold mildew, where they recommend a metal roof. So zinc strips can also help on that too. Typically up on your top, a couple rows just below your ridge cap. If you install zinc strips, really easy to do. Just tip when you do, where two shingles come together, don't drive a nail in your zinc strip near those, because typically you're going to lift a little shingle, you're going to shove it under and put a couple nails. Don't put them near a keyway. But what that does when the rain hits and runs down, that zinc will kind of wear off over time and run down your roof and help clear the discoloration, mold, mildew stuff. What am I paying for shingles in my area? Oh, depending upon the brand and the line, I can't find any shingles for under $100 a square now. They're all over 100, $110 a square. I know some people are buying in massive bulk and might get better deals, but I'm not companies that said earlier that has 100 salesmen under me. It's me. What is my favorite membrane of roof to install and why? membrane as far as you talking about like asphalt or SBS? I mean, it's going to be SBS. If you're referring to like a rubber, it's going to be reinforced rubber. I'm not be a little more specific what you mean by membrane. What type of shingle? What brand of shingle, Justin? Daniel, you're in Illinois, Chicagoland. Oh, Greenlight Construction. Joe Jarrett, Drew Jarrett. Can't think of their names. Awesome guys. If you need some work, or unless you are a contractor, I've actually met them in person down Southside Indianapolis at a conference that was put on by Butch Lockhart, Malarkey guy. And dude, he was an amazing speaker. He's up in your area, I believe. Oh, DG, eventually the world will become unaffordable. Yeah, it's kind of getting there. Got to hedge against the dollar for sure. Sir, top end fab? How many roofs? What do you mean, how many roofs? Aside of aesthetics, the shingle color matter? Um, a little bit. Oh, two things come to mind on that question. So obviously, from when I was a little kid, certain colors absorb radiant heat faster and dissipate heat faster. So obviously, a black is going to heat up quicker. It's going to retain the heat faster. It's going to heat the entire mass of the shingle up faster. So obviously, a lighter colored shingle is not going to absorb it as quick and not stay as hot as fast. Um, the other thing during the install on a hot summer day, working on a black roof, you're not going to see minor scuffs on like a Shasta White, or some of those really light colored shingles. Hot summer day, you look at a roof wrong and it's going to just make a little scuff mark. You're going to see it and it's going to look bad and you're probably going to be fixing things. So if you're a homeowner, just more of a cool thing, uh, not heating up so much. Um, Contractor wise, yeah, be cautious on a light colored shingle. Scuff's easy. DG. In the year 2034, we will only be able to afford Harbor Freight blue tarps. Oh, geez. Harbor Freight, I tell you what, I know so many people like, oh my God, Harbor Freight's so good. It's so good because it's cheap, but let me tell you, I used one tool from them and will never buy again. Um, I've gone there like buy cheap wire and stuff, but a C-clamp from Harbor Freight, I went to compress a master cylinder on my brakes and it goes pop. I was like, what the fuck? It literally just goes some cheap cast metal. I was like, no way, I will never buy, maybe a Pittsburgh screwdriver, but even then you twist it and it can't hold the torque. Oh no, is my stream still going? Bear with me, guys. I think the video is cutting out. My internet here sucks. Come on, Elon Musk. I need me a Starlink here. Oh, one day he'll have it in my area. Are we back up? Can anyone give me a thumbs up or a video's good? I literally got warned and said stream and video went out. Viewers will experience buffering. Is the video good? Am I back on? Chuck's in a truck. Is that it? Okay, cool. Video's back up. Thank you. I've got multiple screens and I keep mine up here so I can read chat, and it just put this big ass yellow banner up and it said low video streaming, viewers are experiencing buffering. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. Let me see, where was I here? I think I missed something. The blue tarps only insurance companies want to use. Yeah, it's Harbor Freight Tools. Buy it once, then buy it again tomorrow. Exactly. Kind of like using a guy that doesn't know what he's doing with his roof. You know, there's so many different sayings out there. You think hiring a good contractor is expensive, hire a cheap one. I uploaded actually the video's old, weeks old. It's a short that I published today. It's like not even a minute long. And dude, I'm not kidding. The majority of the leak calls I get in my area, if it's not obvious missing shingles or damage or something obviously done wrong from the get-go of an installer, it's going to rain the first rain or leak the first rain. The number one call I get for those leaks, the thing it is nail placement. Nail placement is a huge issue. Over time, they wall around and they leak. Thank you, Jesse Phillips. I appreciate it. I feel like I'm on a little short stint of a week or two, maybe, of a video every weekday. It gets kind of hard to try to think of something different so it's not a repetitive same video. Hey, just a really random. Let's see, I got almost 30 people in here. How many of you have heard of crypto, Bitcoin, or anything like that? I'm feeling a little generous. Do I have a video of the siding soffit that was full of water? DG, I do have a video that I spoke of recently about a rubber flat where the soffit and fascia is full of water. Are you, what was his name? His name was Justin. Um, the video's not public yet, unless you did the video with the siding soffit that had, the one with ice and water. I've got another one I'm getting ready to release here soon. It's rubber with water underneath, and it's kind of ponding and pooling in the soffit and fascia board area. Oh no, crypto. Oh no, DG, I don't want to scare you away. Are you saying oh no to crypto or no you aren't? No, you haven't? Tyson, you have a few. Laurel, is that Brennan? My eyes are like getting blurry. Yup. 3 Bitcoins. You have 3 Bitcoins? Nice. I just transferred another one today. Put her in cold storage. Tyson, give me an altcoin. Your top altcoin. Crypto Jimmy. DG, the one where he extended the rafter tails. I'm not sure which video you're talking about. Is it a video on my channel that's public currently? The extended the rafter tails. I don't remember. Yeah, a lot of people around here, they, I feel like I share this all the time, but there was a roof job I lost over 400 bucks. And I find out 6 months later they've got leaking box vent, leaking riser pole, leaking chimney. Just, I think there was like 5 or 6 pipe boot. There's 5 or 6 leaks on this property. And then I'm billing, and I'm like, why did I never do this job? And I found out because the other guy was 400 bucks cheaper. I'm like, well, you guys got bent over. Because the other guy, straight roof over. My estimate is to do the house and the garage, tear everything down, all new drip edge around all perimeters, ice and mortar on the bottom and valleys. This one didn't have any valleys. All new flashing, counter flashing, pipe vents, everything. 6 months later, find out they saved $400 and they got a roof over on just the house. I'm like, Dad, people just look at the price, and if they can save $100, they don't care about anything else. They don't care about the description and the estimate. They saved $100 and they're happy. Blows me away. Oh, love the video from the steep A-frame inspection I did. Yeah, it was in the winter. I wouldn't say it was years ago. It was just back in like December, January or something, I think. You got vertigo? Wow, I live with vertigo. That's one of the videos I do want to put out there. I haven't talked about it much, but I've got Meniere's disease and I deal with hearing loss and vertigo. It sucks. I know you're probably thinking, what am I doing on the roof? I can manage the vertigo for the most part. My ringing's terrible. I do want to talk about that just because I think it can help somebody else out there with vertigo or Meniere's. I haven't really been open about it, talking about it much. Proud owner of 10 Dogecoins. Do you want another 10? I'll send you 10 right now, David. Actually, David, I'll send you like 1,000 Dogecoin if you got Dogecoin. Let's see, where are we on Doge? I think the last I knew was like 8 cents or something. Where are we here? Doge, 8 cents. That's $80 roughly. Cheaper is always better. That's my man. David G, drop your public address for Dogecoin in the comments. See if I got one of my exchanges up. Doge. Trade. David G, are you in the comments section? Are you in chat? Redfire, how you doing? AK variants, maybe one. It's bored to 410. It's was it a Sega? I've got a few. I can talk about them. I just don't want to show them. Got a couple 22 long, 22 bolt, Mauser 38, 50 cal, Thompson, Walther P22, Springfield 40 XD, a Sega 410, a Mossberg 500. I think there's another. I don't remember. I don't mess with them much. I just stock up on ammo. Valley flashing, yes or no? Um, you talking about like a W valley flashing? In co, a little more specific on what you're asking, I'll try to answer there. Yeah, and you know the P22, I think the sight came off of mine too. Um, I can't remember which one it was. One of them popped off. What I do like about the Walther P22 is it's got the threaded barrel from, its stock, which is kind of nice because I was gonna go get my second class federal stamp or whatever, or the suppressor. Daniel in my service area, typically within an hour, um, that direction. Oh, okay. Kind of like the bird cap, if that's what you're talking about. Or no, that's somebody different. Yeah, on the top of the roof ridge cap at the far end, usually those get beat up and chipped up from birds. There was a company that approached me in the past and they wanted to sell me or promote their product. I mean, it was kind of cool. It's copper, but nobody's going to pay the price in my area for that. Actually, you know what? The thumbnail, I think I edited the thumbnail here of what I was doing. I did have some pictures up on the screen. Throw those up here real quick if you guys want to see it, just as a background or something. Shh, let me scan through there real quick. There we go. That's what we were working on today. Give you some other view back there. Oh, let me shrink my myself down here. Bring me down, bring me down. I didn't realize I was full screen today. Usually I have the screen up so you can see my desktop. Yeah, so this is the job we're working on today. I had some other estimates to get to, so this is close to when I was getting ready to take off. But the video I was talking about how we get the length, or not the length, where we start our first panel. So when we break our rib out here, it's actually going to allow the gable end to cover it. I don't know how many roofs a year I do. I've never really kept track of them. I don't use all those metrics of squares and roofs and all that. I just need to pay my bills, pay the guys, and keep building up a profit so I can invest. I really have no desire to be this massive company with salesmen everywhere. It's just more you'll have to manage and more managers you'll have to manage. No, it's not ice shield over the entire roof. So if you can see my cursor, this we do have ice at the bottom. I'm sorry, no, we don't have it on the bottom of this. Didn't need it here. Um, we got everything dried in, ice and water in the valleys on the front dormers here. So this is all synthetic paper. Then the shiny stuff on this back side and this front dormer and where we're starting right here is actually what I call single bubble. It's well, you guys will, I show it in the video. I'll hopefully make this public tomorrow. It's almost like a bubble wrap, polymer on the bottom, aluminum foil polymer on the top to help reduce the heat. It smooths the roof surface and then adds a very small dampening of noise and insulation value. Not a bad roof at all. Pretty simple. I'm not a fan of doing nasty, gnarly cut up roofs in metal. It's just a lot of detail work. These are just some of the shots I took throughout the day. Let me get my cursor back down here. And getting all the panels out, getting them staged and ready. So here's the polymer single bubble right down here. Is what it comes in, like 7.5 square rolls. Got everything tore down, cleaned up, prepped, nails pulled. Ring shank nails to install plywood decking on. Yes, if you can, if you want to spring for ring shank nails, W chills, definitely going to be worth the money. They're going to grip in and hold good. I've seen over time decking nails that aren't ring shank kind of back out over time. Wouldn't want to be the guy pulling the nails later doing a resheet of it. And anyway, just figured I'd go through this since I had them up on the computer here. Yeah, so at least my supplier, and I've done a video or two of my steel supplier in my area. It's Wagler Metal Sales, and actually, because of this channel here, I'm located in Kokomo, Indiana, and they're close to the Kokomo Airport. Um, they had a viewer of that video from New Jersey contact them from my YouTube video because they couldn't find anyone in their area to be able to custom bend what they needed. So they communicated via phone and internet, email. They actually custom made this guy his metal, his trim pieces, and he drove from New Jersey to Kokomo, Indiana to pick it up. So, um, yeah, they were the ones that told me about that bubble wrap down here. It's like a shipping. I don't, well, let me go see if I find a better picture, close up of it. Really cool stuff. If you're gonna do a roof over with metal, you can run this stuff out over it and it's gonna smooth everything so your panels rest flat, dampens that, also adds just a little bit of an R value, not much, but it will add a little bit. More so if you hear like little light hail and storms, it's gonna muffle that sound a little bit. Caulk them and sprinkle some granules. Oh, on the end, your last one. So yes, it's pretty common. A lot of guys on your last one, or if you've got different ridges tying in together, where that last piece goes to either put 2 or 4 nails in it to hold it down. So there's some tips and things. Don't put them in the far outer edges and lower edges because water will wick up under and get into them, bring them in a little bit. You can just simply spot them with the, like we use GSL 4500. You can take some of the hitchhikers, the loose granules, and kind of cover it back up so you don't see them. If it is something like a JF TimberTech Sip and Ridge, it's usually a double layer. You can lift the corner up and you can shoot under the corners so they're completely hidden. Or you could nail your last one down and simply put some caulking and just stick another piece to it, but over time that may come off. Sam Soul, yeah. We take ours to, there's 2 places we can take it here. There's a transfer station which goes to a landfill, and then there's a shingle recycle place. That's where we go. They used to do a lot of recycling, I don't think, because the way the markets are and the laws that they're doing much selling of it, I don't know, but that's still where we go. I've been pretty faithful within easy access, clean facility. Boy, another underlinement question. It's probably the third or fourth one today. Synthetic paper is all we use. As you can see in here, you're seeing it's synthetic paper. It's Reese Wholesale. That's who I've been buying it from. I said earlier in the stream, I think I did in this one. They had a misprint, a big batch of misprint synthetic paper, so the color was off or their alignment was off a little bit. So they're selling it at a reduced price. We've been using a lot of it. It's nothing compromised with the product. It's just the coloring, like right where it says Reese right here. Let me switch over to that other photo. I think the angle looks better. That right there looks good. Any other questions? Anyone got any questions? We're already approaching 11. Oh, was that David G that was saying he had Dogecoin? Am I not going to get a public address up here? Yeah, David G, you're not going to give me your address? Your public address, not your seed phrase. I was going to send you some Dogecoin. Trey, you're losing a lot of ridge cap, but the ridge nails are still there. Where's the location of the nails? I see that a lot where whoever's installing it or one not putting enough nails, not in the right location, and they're just blowing through the mat. You know, the nails are too high up and in. I talked about that in a video I've got uploaded already. It's not public, and I wanted to get confirmation from a guy, make sure it's okay if I share it. But I talk about that hip and ridge and how it's blowing off and the nail placement. The 40-year-old gamer. Oh, yeah, I think I remember talking to you in the past. Yeah, I've done a lot of technical analysis lately, and yeah, wait for a retest or a little bit of a pullback. Honestly, I think we're gonna get one more massive capitulation down. There's a lot of stuff going on in China right now, and they're pulling a lot of their equities off the Nasdaq. I mean, hell, today Bitcoin's down to oh, it's in Doge, BTC. We've come up a little bit on Bitcoin. We're at 23 notification pop out, $23,462. It dipped really bad today. But yeah, I think we're gonna get another really low. Send you Bitcoin trade or Tyson. I'm not gonna send you a Bitcoin. I'll send you a Satoshi. Why not 30 pound? I'm not a fan of 30 pound, Sam. I mean, it's definitely thicker and nicer. And the only time I would really use 30 pound is if I was doing cedar shake. I've done cedar shake before, and every course you run out, put a pass. It's specially made. It's a lot thinner of a roll. Unless you got a cheap boss and he wants you to cut it out, which stupidest thing ever. No more capitulations, please. Yes, I want just another big leg down. It's a good buying opportunity. Just don't sell when it capitulates down. I mean, you can pick up some more as long as you got some more dry powder sitting on the side. Buy the short squeeze. Anyone here in on the Celsius short squeeze? What is the Cell token? That's the only one that's actually done decent. Yeah, Celsius token is, yeah, it's a big. Lost some money on Celsius, but I'm in on the short squeeze. It's been running up. Actually, it's been coming up to date pretty good. We're at 296. 295. Yeah, 296. It's jumping around. Might be a bit of a push on that short squeeze tonight. Got in on the AMC short squeeze last spring. Did really good there too. Did really good in the commodities in 2020. Never really got much interest on the what's a roofer do with his money videos, so I really didn't continue in with that. I feel like some people might even get offended when I talk about money or Bitcoin or crypto or stocks. W chills, ventilation. You see, you got a Finnish attic, cap style home. The soffit about extending to the ridge, keep soffit or close them up. I'm quite sure, not envisioning what you're talking about. You can't get baffles. You got a finished ceiling and you want to get baffles in it, and since you can't because it's finished, close off your soffit. If that's what you're asking. I'm not sure what you mean by cap. Boy, I'm missing the E there. Cape style home. Okay. I was like, what do you mean cap style home? Cape style home. Oh, what the hell is a Cape style home? If you've got soffit vents and your question is, should you block them off because you can't get baffles in, I wouldn't block them off. If it's not venting properly, blocking them off, you could reduce what little ventilation you could have, I guess. I'm not going to get into politics in here, Tyson. The only thing I will say politically about the politicians is I don't care if you're left side, right side, they all have their own hidden agenda. In Baker, you have a gable roof with gutter guards. I just didn't know replace the drip edge under it. So you got gutter guards, and they didn't rip out the gutter edge or the apron on the bottom. They just left it, or did they not install it? I mean, typically, I would think a reputable company would replace all the metal. Do you have any kind of estimate or written estimate stating they're going to or not going to? That's why I'm try to be a big advocate of if you're getting estimates, you're comparing prices to compare what is being done in the estimate. If you have something by them stating they were going to, then I definitely say, damn it, get back out here and fix this. Well, yeah, I guess to be clear, the style of drip edge you're talking about, I've not heard of that. Is it the kind of like the no drip gutter, or I can't remember what it's called. Basically, the gutter guard goes up your roof edge a little bit, comes down and curves under, and it's solid, and the water surface tension sticks to it and runs under. There have been some on the market that, yeah, it's a pain, but typically when we run into the kind that are a pain in the ass, we do our best to try to lift them gently, get our hands in there to clean them out, then drop a piece of apron on. And but if I'm doing an estimate on a house that has something like that, I'm going to write a note section up in there. In my software, my estimate, I have a note section. I can just type a note and it pops up, and I can add little descriptive things like that. Message deleted. Hmm. You can see my monitors in the back there. I want to get more monitors up here, but I think my wife would. Well, actually, I know my wife would be a little annoyed by that. Uh, why are we censoring people in here? I'm not censoring anybody. You want to say something, say it. I just thought whoever has the message deleted, somebody deleted it themselves. I didn't delete anything. So, Brian Allen, if you're referring to me censoring people, I'm not. Tyson, did you delete your own message? I'm curious. You're typing deleted message? Why do roofers love to drop nails into pools? I don't know. Whenever we do a roof that has a pool, we take extra care with tarps. We'll try to build a little guard because nails will flip and fly. And so, yeah, I don't want to go. I mean, I would love to dive into one of the pools in these hot summer days and roofs we've done with pools in the backyard. But yeah, we will do our best to keep them blocked off with tarps. Mhm. I guess there could be some truth to that. If you have it completely blocked off, the hotter the air, the more moisture it can hold, but it has to be able to get there somehow. If you have hot, moist air outside on a hot, humid day and you're in a region that gets hot summer, moist air like that, could that flow in? Well, I guess my thought is that moisture could only flow in if it has an area for the dry, cooler air to flow out. There has to be a pressure difference or a pressure gradient to allow the air to rise out and come in. Typically, the hot air is less dense and it rises, and that's what allows the cooler air to flow in. So if you've got hotter summer moist air, or God, people hate when I say moist. You've got hotter air outside. You're gonna have to have hotter air inside to be lighter, less dense to rise out for that other air, the ambient air outside to flow in, if that makes sense. So if it's not flowing out, it's not gonna suck in. But then again, I'm just a roofer. Good night. Message deleted, message deleted. What time do I usually start work? I start work a little late. Um, I've got my little girl. My wife works full time too, so she goes to work before me. I get the little girl up and fed and taken care of into the sitters, and then I head in. So my work day typically starts at like 6 a.m. and I have my office phone to not really start taking calls until like 8 or 8:30. But I'm up and going and usually working on my laptop, getting the little one ready. I'm on the phone, handling the crew, getting things, supplies going. So typically, I'm not on job sites or estimates until about 8:30, 9:30-ish. But then, on the flip side, I don't end my day until much later. There's many nights where I'll be on my work computer until midnight working on estimates I couldn't get done in the day. Yeah. Uh, Saturated air, is that better? What's the best way to get into roofing with little to no experience? What's the average starting pay in your area? I don't know. I've not really. The best way is to find a company you know in your area, see if they're hiring, start learning. Just learn, don't just get stuck in the rut, is what advice I'd give you, Nathan. Learn what you can learn as quick as you can, and then start doing you. I can tell you I've grown more and succeeded in more since I've went out on my own. It's my 19th year roofing, and I've owned this company over 5 years. And the previous decade just ticking by like this, and I'm like, what am I doing? Paycheck to paycheck. The only other piece of advice, Nathan, I'll give you, or anyone in here, something I've learned is to focus on giving value, not chasing the money. Instead of chasing the money, it's kind of a trap. Just create value for somebody or people or the masses. There's a really good book by MJ DeMarco. I'd recommend giving it a read or a listen. Really good book. You'll know what I'm talking about. But if you can focus on just giving good value, the money will come back to you. Today, when I got home, my thermometer outside was reading 130 degrees. It was pegged, but that's not the temperature. It's because it was in the sun, shining right down on it with a little plastic dome. Can't ever trust it unless it's shady. It was actually a little bit nicer day today. It's cooling off a little bit here. Get into handyman work if you want to get into roofing. I'm not a fan of the handyman. I'm not knocking handyman, but it's kind of got a bad reputation. I'd rather be a master of one than a jack of all. You remember MJ DeMarco in Arizona mansions? Is he from there? I thought he was in the California area. Maybe I'm wrong. Really good author, really smart. If you guys haven't ever used audio, go to audio. They'll give you a free book to try and then search MJ DeMarco, Millionaire Fastlane. Or there's countless books out there that are really, really, really good. Tyson, that's was that you that asked that earlier, or somebody else asked that exact same question? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 11, 13. There's nothing wrong at all DIYing. I DIY'd myself to flying airplanes when I was a kid. Well, taught myself, I guess. Not do it yourself, but taught myself. Yeah, yeah. MJ DeMarco, there's several good things you'll learn from his books. Entry to Barrier is one of them. Um, if there's a lot of people doing it, it's just going to be cutthroat margins. If very few people are doing it, I mean, like in my area, there's hundreds of roofers, and the margins are cut so bad right now in my area. But yet, like the soft washing roofs and things like that, there's very few people, and the profit margins are ridiculous. YouTube University, yes. YouTube University is amazing. Well, oh, okay, I didn't finish reading. That can get you into trouble sometimes. Yeah, I guess it could. You need to use some common sense with it. TikTok is a beast. Hmm. Didn't realize I can drag my background screen around over here. Trying to adjust me. There we go. There's a massive delay. Where is that at? Take it easy, Nathan. D4, X4, Bronco. Bronco. How do you measure roof sizes and pitch with aerial view? Um, with an aerial view, you can sketch it out. And as far as the pitch, if you're not there in Google Maps, you can get a good street view most of the time. You can just kind of guesstimate the pitch to a close enough number. And if not, you really just, it's kind of hard to tell without knowing the pitch. I'll be right back. Hang on a second. One of my dogs is making a weird noise. My dog's in there dreaming. Let me read through these real quick. Um, WA chills, that's kind of a unique question, I guess. Um, so if he's wanting to push a warranty but compromise, or not compromise, not do what really should be done, I'd kind of want to question his thinking on that. But on the side of if you ever have to file a warranty claim with the manufacturer, they're not going to come out and necessarily inspect everything. They're just going to want pictures of ventilation, pictures of intake, pictures of the front of the house with the address, proof of ownership, proof of date of install, things like that. So you could probably get away with it, but I don't know. LHS21. Do you see any harm in dabbing the nail heads with tar, caulking gun before starting your next course as an attempt to add water resistance to the nail pops? Um, I wouldn't do any of the caulking the nail heads to prevent leaking of a nail pop. Anytime I would even go through the effort of adding that material would be to seal something down if it's coming into the winter time to help it seal down a little sooner than the actual seal strip temperature needs to soften up and bond, if that makes sense. Like if you do a cold weather installation, some or probably all the manufacturers they'll have a little installation, a little asterisk in their warranty area when it comes to cold weather. It won't just be clear cut on what they say you need to do for a cold weather application. But if you research a little deeper what that asterisk is there for, they want you to install 3 little dabs of an approved sealer on every shingle during the install. And that's, yeah, no one ever is going to do that. So just really try to avoid installing in the winter and the cold months if you're in a cold region. But as far as to answer your question a little more clearly, before starting your next course, and attempt to add water resistance to nail pops. If your nail is going to pop through a shingle, it's going to have to pop up or not be down all the way, and the shingle's going to heat up and pop down over it. One of those two is going to need to happen. If you've got a sealer over it, it's going to pop up, it's going to lift the sealer. If the sealer is over it because it's not embedded down all the way, if it cures, your shingle is going to be spaced, spread out. The surface area is bigger, so it shouldn't pop through. So I wouldn't take the time to put dabs on the nails. Never been asked that in that way before. It's pretty funny about the roof cut in 4 pieces. I made a hunting shack down in my woods. I've got a video of it from in the past. I made that thing modular in my garage and took it down on the 4-wheeler and built it back up into the woods. The roof I carried down there in 2 sections and threw them up. And pretty cool little hunting shack I built down there, elevated hunting shack with a wood burning stove that I made. Worst shed roof ever. Yeah, I'd like to see it. Speaking of, I need to check my work emails here. I haven't checked them in a while. I'm not sure if anyone sent me anything today. Oopsie. I'm still here. Just looking over here for a minute. Nope, nothing new in this one. I maybe don't have it over there on that. My chat might disappear for a minute. Oh, I don't have my other email logged in here on this. Alright, I'm back. Oh, deer back here. Son of Brutus. We had a really big buck in the woods years ago, and we called him Brutus. And this isn't him, so I started calling him Son of Brutus. Can't see my cursor there, but does it show here? No, it's not on it. Move me around here real quick. I just had an idea, question, thought. No, I can't put the cursor over me. Huh, interesting. I don't do lives too often, but still learning with this OBS software. LHS, I appreciate that. Thank you. There's not many to compete with. I mean, Zach of all trades, he's pretty good. I want to actually meet him sometime. He's not too far from me. When I started looking at videos on YouTube for the roofing, it was the world's fastest, the roofing Olympic type stuff, and I'm like, man, somebody's got to change this. Nobody did, so I started throwing stuff out there, and I'll be the first to tell you, I don't claim to know it all. If I don't know something, I'll ask you guys. Talk to you later, Diggy. Have a good one. I'm gonna have to get out of here soon. We'll go, what, 6 more minutes, wrap up at 11:30. If you guys got any other questions, go ahead and get them into me. If I've missed some, I apologize. Oh, excuse me. Let's try to get my dogs out, check the weather, plan on my route tomorrow before I go to bed. Have I noticed how material is skyrocketing? No, not one bit. For the past 2 years, yes. Come on, Bitcoin, bring it back up. Come on, Trixie. Come on. Come here. Come on. Jump. Good girl. Say hi. Say hi. What's that matter? Oh, you want petted? Boy, look at you. I wish life was this easy. Okay. How much do I spend in diesel per day? God, I don't know. It's about $1,000 a month. Diesel's come down a little bit, so it's like, I don't know, 100. What did I pay the other day? 33-gallon tank. We were paying $6 a gallon. Oh, what is that? Nails? Yeah, $55, $56 for a box of 1.25-inch coil nails. Roofing, 110 a square for entry lines. Synthetic paper, $60, $80 easy. Ice and water, 65. Apron, edge metal, $7, $8. Thank you, W Chills. I appreciate it. I really do. You know, as I said earlier, YouTube, I've learned so much on YouTube, so this is just what little way I can give back, and hopefully these videos are going for long after I'm gone. Yeah, I was at a gas station in Tipton today, heating up my lunch, because I'm on a low sodium diet. and I'm paying the cashier for a drink I bought, and I get a tap on my shoulder. He's like, "Hey, there he is, the YouTuber himself." I turn, I was like, "I don't know this guy, but okay, kind of cool." There's people out there that are starting to see me and that benefit from it, so that's all I'm trying to do. Whoever reused material? No, not usually. Um, Maybe some step flashing if it's in good shape, and it's kind of hard to get new in, but no, we always try to always use everything new. New apron, new drip, new ice, new paper, obviously new shingles and cap. There's one thing I do reuse, and that's when I smash my coil nails up to where I can't use them in the gun. I'll take a pair of snips and snip the copper barbs out. Well, not out, but cut them so I'm dropping nails, and I'll use smashed up coil nails as hand nails for repairs just because they're 55 plus a box now. Hmm. So I think we got 2 more minutes and I'm gonna jump off of here. Got to do a few more things yet after this live stream to. This is supposed to be a quick live stream. It turned into. How long have we been going? Where's it show that over here? 2 hours and 6 minutes. Oof. Yeah, the viewer count's slowly trickling down. People getting off. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. It gives me something to do too. I don't like watching TV. If I wasn't on here doing this with you guys, I'd be probably catching up on some of my YouTubers I follow, catching up on my crypto news. Uh, Andre Jake, Stephen Graham, a couple of those guys. It's a little bit I can do to give back. If you guys got questions, kind of fun. If I lived in Pennsylvania, yeah, I've only got a few more years. Then I want to wind down a little bit. So I'll be hustling for a few more years at least. People that just keep the drip edge, yeah, I don't. The only time I've recommended keeping drip edge was, for example, on a, barn roof we did, where the drip edge was actually manufactured in with the face of the metal, and it was really rigid and really good, like heavy gauge steel. I mean, it was cherry. The paint was great and everything. In a case like that, yeah, $610 a square to remove an asphalt shingle and re-roof, up from 2 years ago. Oh, buddy, that is actually really nice numbers. For a ranch style home in my area, you're talking $330 a square retail. How old am I? 39? Need to shave. I hate these little scruffs. 11:31, getting ready to shut her down. You know, I do want to try to do one live stream a week, either a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Just I haven't really got a good day chosen out to do it. So today was Wednesday. My little one was not feeling great and tired, so she went to bed early. So I was like, you know what? I'll just put a post out, see how many. I almost contemplated not because the post only got 3 comments and like a handful of thumbs up. Actually, let me refresh it and see. I got 4 comments. Looks like there's another comment in here somewhere. Oh, it was D Finch. He commented in there and said, "Hey, thanks for answering my question. Missed out on the live portion." He didn't miss out on the live portion. I'm still live now. Maybe you missed that portion, but you're gonna get the final shout out to D Finch just for taking the extra minute to go back and comment thanking me. I appreciate it. Thank you, D Finch. And let's see, it looks like a few more things came in here. How far am I willing to travel for a job? It depends on the job, but typically I like to keep it within an hour, two-ish. I don't like going any farther than that. I do like to get home to my family. 30S FTW. Not sure what you're asking. Yeah, about an hour radius typically, but I will travel further. There's been a few jobs for people I know I'll go further. I've gone up to Michigan, Indiana, Michigan state line before. I've gone down to Cloverdale, Greencastle, I think it was. Couple hour drive. Somebody that knew my brother he worked with. I just don't want to be gone all day for days on end at a hotel. And I don't like driving, especially now the cost of it. I'm not necessarily located around Indianapolis, but I'm close. I'm just 45 minutes to an hour north of Indianapolis. For the win. Oh, okay. There's new abbreviations in chat on platforms now. I don't know what they are. Thanks for clarifying that, D4. Oh, yeah, the other dog wants to say hi. Come here. Come on. I know there's a thing in the way. That's a Peppy. Or my little girl. She calls her Peppers. Look at the screen. Say hi. Look that way. You want to go out? You want a snack? Know what you want, huh? Alrighty. On that note, guys, I appreciate y'all. A bot. Yeah, I think that's a bot trying to get the last comment in down here in chat. All right. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy evenings, giving me questions to answer, and the one that donated a chat. I appreciate it. See, I missed one right here. I had a couple questions. Ribs might be requesting some business in the future. Yeah, I mean, Indianapolis isn't out of my work area. More preferably on the northern side. Not a fan of the Lawrence area, but if it's something you need help with or a question, or if you're a homeowner, contractor, whatever, if you're a contractor, you want to go get some lunch, give me a shout. I'm not the kind of guy that thinks competition is a bad thing. I'm just gonna try to be better than them. There's plenty of work out there. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Everybody take care. Have a good one. Keep an eye. 20K subscriber giveaway. New Q&As. New videos. Give me ideas. You're more north than Indy, too. Are you in Marion County? I'll give you a second to type back real quick. Oh, in the Elkhart area? No, that's way north of me. Indianapolis is south of me. If you're in Elkhart, you're about an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours north of me. I thought you were in the Indy area, or maybe you were asking if I was in the Indy area. I'm north of Indianapolis. Sounds like south of you. Yeah, Elkhart, Goshen, up that way. I know where that's at. Uh, Alrighty. Somehow I managed to go over every stream. All right, my dogs want to get out. I need to get some sleep, people. So I appreciate it. Till next time, be safe, and we'll see you on the next video.